Hello to our lovely Kickstarter backers. This is Dan from the Retro Hour podcast.
This is Ravi.
Hi. And this is Jag.
And this is Simon.
Who?
Who are you, Simon?
Who am I?
We thought we'd do a little update in audio format because, we are a podcast, and I think we've kind of done quite a lot of writing recently, so we think we'd give our fingers a rest and record this in audio format. As obviously it's been probably about, 6 weeks now since our Kickstarter finished on my birthday, actually, which was quite a nice surprise. Obviously, smashed the goal, and we just want to come on and just say a massive thank you, obviously, to everyone that's backed it and made our dream a reality. And we thought we'd give you a little kind of update as to where we're at with things, because things are progressing quite nicely. And introduce Simon as well, who is the mystery fourth member of the Retro Hour book team. So, hi, Simon.
Hello.
Now, where do you fit into all this?
Well, so I think I first badgered you guys about doing a book in 2016. I actually checked my emails about that earlier this week. Can you believe it? That's 7 years ago. It's mad, isn't it? Yeah, so I recall I was, so my background is in publishing. It's legal publishing, actually. I was in legal publishing for 10 years before I decided to go freelance just over a year ago. But when I contacted you guys, I was kind of looking for some sort of extracurricular projects, I suppose, to do to sort of to expand my I'm not really into law. I'll be honest. Legal publishing is not that exciting to me. So I was kind of thinking, well, I'm into retro games, and these guys do a good podcast. Maybe I could chat to them about some sort of book. And I remember I emailed you, Dan, October 2016, and proposed this idea of a interview compendium. Right? I think my initial idea was to do every interview you've ever done, which was probably
it was about 12 at that stage.
It was probably
like
quite,
War and Peace.
It would be substantial by this point. And then I think it kind of went on the back burner for a bit because I know you guys were busy, and then like I said, I went freelance last year, so I thought, well, who can I hit up to try and get some work basically, and I hit you guys up again, and it seemed like you were ready again at that point. So
and I know you've worked on a few other projects. You've been working with Neil from RMC on some books, and various other ones as well. You know your retro stuff.
I've done Neil's book. I've done a couple for David Pleasance. Yeah, I'm into games. I'm into books. I like exploring book design and trying to come up with nice layouts and making a premium product, and hopefully we can bring that to your lovely backers.
Well, the best thing about it is, I write a bit for Amiga Addict magazine and stuff, but we don't really have a background in books or publishing. So having someone on board that can kind of, lead us and show us the right direction is really interesting. And kind of what's it like joining a team of, three of us. We've been together for like 6-7 years now. So kind of joining at this point, what's it been like?
Well, it's been good. It's been a good experience. I mean, I think we're sort of about a year in now, I think, aren't we, on the project?
Pretty much exactly, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's been, it was a few months of sort of trying to establish, who we want to feature in the book, and obviously getting permission from them to feature their interviews, because you guys have such a vast repository of interviewees by this point. So it was picking the right people to stick in there, and then coming up with a layout. So we've had lots of plenty of meetings up until launching the Kickstarter, obviously, of working through what we want this thing to look like, and making sure you guys are happy with how it looks, and the format and the types of content, and the features and all that kind of thing. So it's been a lot of fun.
Well, let's give a little update then, because obviously we hadn't finished the book at the time the Kickstarter completed, because we didn't want to write the whole thing, just in case. Even though I'd say we're probably at more than 50% the way there, weren't we, at that stage?
Yeah, well, the interviews are all transcribed. So it was really kind of, because that kind of side of things, you can kind of do quite. You can use software to assist in that side of things, but obviously everything needs a human ear to make sure that it's correct. So all the interviews have been carefully transcribed and edited, and made sure that they're all accurate. And then, you establish your sort of base design template, and at that point, that's kind of enough to show people. But yeah, you obviously don't want to make the entire book in case nobody backs it. So we got a good, we're a good sort of 50% of the way there. But now it's kind of the sort of tricky and the fun part of getting all your images together and firming up the features and just finalizing, making sure everything looks good.
Well, image-wise, we actually did a photo shoot as well, which was really interesting. Joe, your friend did that, and you, to be honest, it was quite a lot of your consoles as well, and your systems.
Yeah, so we're doing everything we can to kind of like, kind of pump some of the kind of the funding back into local lads and kind of independent companies and stuff like that. So we used Andy Tapp Photography, who I've known for 6 or 7 years. He's a local photographer in the East Midlands who does he does all sorts, but how I know him is he used to do a lot of concerts and gigs for my old band. And then he does a lot of work for, like Rock City and the Arena and stuff like that. But then he also does a lot of stuff, for magazines and wedding photography, a bit of everything, you name it, he does it when it comes to photos. So we've used him. He also did our video for us as well. But we used him for like a little photo shoot back at the old studio where Dan used to work, which was really fun, actually, because that was the first time we kind of all got together in a long time. So that's going to be going into
that was a Kickstarter video, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I said bring wet wipes to clean the consoles.
And then
then it was a week later. Joe and I went to his house, and to picture this, because Joe, you brought, I'd say we probably bought 50% each, didn't we, in terms of consoles and computers. So I had like a massive IKEA bag with, my Atari Jaguar with a CD in there, a VIC-20, a Commodore 64, a Sega Tower of Power. Went out, drove over to this guy's house. He lives near Derby, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So we went over there about 7 o'clock in the evening one night, pouring down with rain.
Yeah.
So there's me and you running across a main road with these carrier bags full of our precious consoles.
The funny thing was, it was actually Halloween. It was October 31st as well. So not only were we running to and from your car to his house, trying to protect, it was quite funny because we did the Sega Tower of Power, but we used your 32X with my Sega CD. And it was like we were running along, like with, essentially like holding bags over it, kind of dodging the children who were dressed in bin bags and stuff as well. So it was quite funny. So we've got the photos. We've done a lot of the photos ourselves. We're going to be reaching out to license some images as well. We've been in talks with some other independent photographers, who have, own the rights to photos to some of the guests that we're using and stuff like that. And then we're going to be using a local independent t-shirt printing company as well to print the backers who have bought t-shirts. But in terms of where we're at the moment, obviously Simon's working on the book, and then us, the Retro Hour guys, we're currently writing our articles. We've been trying to kind of figure out how long the articles need to be, reining Ravi in a little bit because he's been writing, these big 5,000 word articles. We haven't quite got the room for that.
I'll go, I'll write a whole extra book, on IBM,
So there's quite a few things we've been doing. We've also coming up with the questions for the backers, which I wanted to get sent out, but then we realised we can only do one set of questions, such as,
These are the reward surveys.
Yeah, the reward survey. So kind of like the delivery address for the backers, what T-shirt sizes you want, how you want your name to appear in the book. And we kind of realised, Dan raised the point, we don't want to send it out now and then the book comes out, gets delivered in 4 or 5 months and somebody's moved house, etc. So
addresses have changed and stuff,
so we're not going to send that out.
That will be coming though.
But it will be coming, so we're not going to send that out just yet. And then also, we have done one of the interviews for the extra interviews so far. Me and Ravi have done that one. And then we are currently writing up the questions for the other ones, which will be sent out in the next kind of couple of weeks. And we'll have them back soon. And
interestingly, we've all kind of dropped into different roles here as well. So Joe has suddenly become the kind of, delivery guy that's been talking to the printers and publishers.
Well, with Simon's help, with a lot of Simon's help.
And Joe is a finance manager, which I wouldn't imagine from a guy that was in a metal band.
Yeah, a lot of pressure there to make sure it works. But
you've been communicating with them well, and that stuff's all sorted, which is really good. I think the distribution is going to be really good, and so is the printed quality as well. We also had a little chat with Sam Dyer as well. He's been giving us some advice from Bitmap Books as well. So we've had like multiple sources of people coming in and advising us.
Now, some people have been asking about the David Rowe artwork, which obviously we're very excited about, and then we've made some good progress there over the last month.
Oh yeah. So I was working with David, and Simon is as well, because he's editing the book. So there's a kind of collaboration going on there. We got to the point that there was a digitally made version that we're really happy with, but what he's doing now is he's getting into the airbrush area, which is going to provide that old school look. And of course, this stuff takes time, like conceptualizing an image. The concept and the theme is totally different to what we originally proposed, but that's how these things develop. They turn into something, and now it's something that we would have never have thought of, but with David's help, it just looks fantastic.
But then after that, another big thing that we're going to be doing in the next month or so, obviously we're kind of waiting on David's artwork before we get the cassettes printed. Because we did actually get a surprising number. Isn't it like 175 people have got the...
Dan was like, there's going to be 3.
Yeah, we kind of we said, we'll do the tapes for the top tier backers. And Dan said, I think you made a joke about, we'll probably get about 7, and then you would just kind of reel it to record it. Yeah, I think there's definitely over 100. So we're going to have to actually get that produced now, which is fine. We're more than happy to do it because of the amount of support we've had has been amazing.
And Simon found a company actually that professionally does them, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I'm one of those I won't say weirdos, but I basically buy cassettes still. I buy I listen to a lot of music that's available on cassette, so I'm quite excited about getting that stuff properly done, because there are still some companies out there that do. Well, I say big quantities of cassettes. Quantities of like 50 and 100, which is probably quite big these days. But we should. I think that's going to look really nice. Get some proper, they're J cards. They're called the little inlaid card sleeves. Get those properly printed up and stuff, and nice labels, or maybe even print on the tapes. That's some discussions we can have, guys, about how to make those look the best they can be as well. So that's going to be a fun thing to work on.
For me, that's really exciting as well. I remember getting audio books on cassette tape when I was a kid, and buying, Now 25 and that on cassette tape. And it's going to be really cool to actually have our own product on the tape, I think. For retro nerds, that's one of the dreams, that, isn't it, I think?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just need to find a tape player now. But yeah, I'm excited too.
Well, they keep making new one. We're talking about it on the podcast. I think, CES the other week. I was watching a video from there. The 8-bit guy.
Get a Walkman.
It was about, about 20 or 30 Walkmans and cassette players that was there at CES now. So I think we've definitely timed that right. And in terms of other things, I think things are progressing really well. We've had a couple of people kind of reach out. We're still kind of on target, hopefully, to deliver the books, in the summer this year. In terms of the printing as well, we kind of mentioned this in the initial campaign. But just to clarify, because we know that shipping abroad can be a bit complicated from the UK now, but we've actually got a printer who I know Joe and Simon have been talking a lot to. Ravi and I actually met him in person at Amiga Germany. This is Nico.
It was actually arranged over a drunken walk home, but
as all the best things are.
But Nico actually, his company's really good. They just done the German Monkey Island book that was just really high quality as well. And he was like, I do printing and stuff. And then we compared prices and checked, and actually, fantastic, and a good relationship to have.
Yeah, so that means there's not going to be, you're not going to be hit with import and export duties, from the UK to the rest of the world. In terms of the UK deliveries, which I think, is about 50% of the books, well, Joe's going to have his conservatory full of them for a couple of weeks.
We're going to get them delivered to my house. I think it's about 400 bucks or something like that.
Build a fort for your little girl.
Maybe. But I'm going to book some time off work. And my wife's going to help us kind of package and post them all ourselves. Dan and Ravi have said they'll muck in. Whether they do or not, we'll find out.
I don't remember saying that, do you, Ravi?
But we will, like we say, we'll be using Nico kind of for the rest of the world and Europe distribution. And then we will be doing it ourselves, quite DIY. Kind of got to figure out the logistics of that. We've had a couple of ideas. in terms of like, do we just post it ourselves in the post office, or do we kind of pay somebody else, who's got a fracking machine and stuff like that and can do it? So we're going to kind of look
franking,
into things like
not fracking. Fracking's totally different.
Well, you know what? We've got one at my work, and I called it a franking machine to my wife, and she was like, "No, it's a fracking machine." So I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, we try to get oil from the ground.
Yeah, we got.
So, we thought we'd just do a little audio update just to kind of let you know where we're at. So I think we're in a good place. And obviously, Simon, you're well versed in this process. So everything's on track. You're keeping us, keeping the whip voiced over us and making sure that we're working hard. So, and I've said it on the main podcast as well, that it's just, I can't wait to have the book in my hand. And I hope that everyone that's backed it loves it as much as I'm sure they will. Any last words?
No. I think that's
about it, isn't it?
Great stuff. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask us on Discord as well, because we can answer pretty directly on that as well.
Cool. Well, back to work, guys.
Nice one.
Thank you very much for. Hope you enjoyed the update. Speak to you all soon.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.